Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stacey Flowers and I am a student of Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University and on a journey to become 100% debt free. I'm on baby step number 2 to repay all of my debts. My current debt is nearly $200,000. I work for myself part-time and my monthly income is an average of about $5,000 a month. In this video, I'm going to be going over my budget report card. So if you are interested in that, please keep watching. So we are finishing up March and we are headed into April, and I like to start my budgeting report cards out with a little bit of a reflection because for me, money is more than just dollars and cents, and a lot sort of happened in these 31 days. So here we go. My first question is, what are you grateful for? And I would say the number one thing that I'm grateful for this month in March is my baby sister. She traveled for 8 hours. She got on the road and she came here to be with me for my first live event. And this is pretty significant, just in part because, you know, your family doesn't have to support the stuff that you're doing. And first of all, she's supporting the thing that I'm doing. But it was also really significant because this is the first live event that I've hosted in 2 years. And so I was nervous and scared beyond belief to like do this again and to like try this again. It's probably one of the most like frightening things that you will ever do, to put that much of your heart and soul like out there. And so for my sister to decide that she was going to, first of all, buy a whole entire ticket, because that's amazing when your friends and family actually invest in what you're doing. Second of all, you know, with her own money and her own time and her own everything, like make time to come and visit me for a weekend. I mean, it literally, like there was such a swell of like appreciation and emotion. I'm even just now thinking about it, it makes me want to cry. And you know, my sister is so intimately stitched into my financial blueprint, and for her to come and be at an event where that I'm hosting and I'm putting on, and then also for it to be an event about money, and money is just one of those things that's so emotional. We don't talk about it with our family, and there's all this friction, and for her to come and just for it to be all love and all support. And I personally think that the moment when she came up and she sort of shared her perspective on a financial experience that I shared, that it was a really powerful moment for all of the attendees, because they got to really understand that like all of our limiting beliefs and wounds and feelings come from our childhood, and our piss poor money behaviors. We're driven by these things that we collected when we gave meaning to things, and that we can uncover and unpack that meaning. And so I'm super, super grateful this month that like my baby sister came out to support me, because it's just like, you know, it's amazing. It's mind-blowing. So I'm really grateful for that. So the second thing that I'm super, super grateful for is that I'm really grateful for my customers and my clients and my community. You guys have been blowing my mind in general. Like, you've been blowing my mind. First of all, thank you for telling me what you want me to make for you. Thank you for investing in the things that you told me you want me to make. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for asking me questions. Thank you guys for letting me know that you are enjoying the work that I'm putting out. Like, this is all I've really ever wanted to do, is be able to talk and, you know, inform and deliver a message that could be transformative. And it's just, it blows my mind that like this work that I do gets to reach so many people and touch so many lives. So thank you as a community for sharing my work with your friends and family. Thank you for loving on me in the comments, and thank you for investing in me and investing in the work that I'm producing. Like, I really, really appreciate you guys. So I'm super grateful for you guys this month as well. And then the third thing that I'm grateful for this month is I was very reflective this month, and I am now in a space where like I am incredibly grateful for the nervous exhaustion, the anxiety, the depression, and the PTSD that I experienced at the top of 2017. I realize now, had I not experienced that to the level, to the extreme, to the degree, had the incredible human being not showed up on my path, because there was one person who showed up on my path, and this person showed up and took care of every single need and want that I could possibly ever imagine having during that particular season. If it didn't happen exactly the way that it happened, like, I'm very, very clear that I would not be here doing what I'm doing now in the way that I'm doing it, with my health and my sound mind. I may be trying to do some like half-hearted version of this, but I wouldn't be this healthy doing this had it not been that for that experience, because that experience brought me to my knees and to a place of surrendering and to a place of like raw vulnerability that I didn't know was like sort of missing from my life and missing from my work. And it this month, you know, with me being able to do my first live event in 2 years, like I really came face to face with it, and I'm just super grateful for it. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like I never in a million years would have thought that I would have been grateful for the level of pain, the amount of grief, the challenges that I faced in that season. But like I can say that I am grateful for that, because I wouldn't be who I am today or capable of doing what I'm doing now had it not been for that that particular valley. So very, very grateful to that. So next question, what worked this month? What really worked this month was me shifting my leisure intentions. So you guys know that I do a vision board every year, and I have 7 intentions, and I have my leisure area of life. And last year my leisure intention was all about resting, and so this year I wanted my leisure intention to be about making social connections, but I realized that that's not gonna work because I'm on a journey to become 100% debt free, and right now I literally cannot afford to socialize. And that was a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, but I think I made peace with it this month. So I think that that's the biggest thing, because I didn't, from a financial perspective, I did not waste money in that regard in the way that I probably would have. Because there were so many things that came up, and I was like, oh, well, you know, my intention is to be social, so let me just go, you know. And I think initially I was like, oh, my pocket money will be enough. But when I really thought through it, like that's too much of a drastic lifestyle change in the middle of me being on this journey. So I had to change my mind about that and release that intention, so that way I could maintain my focus. And I think that that really worked, because I wasn't as worried about trying to do stuff this month, because I had a lot of free time this month, and I would have filled it with a lot of activities that would have cost money, and that would have not been smart. So what didn't work this month was me not thinking through the emotional impact of hosting my first event and having my sister come up and you know, hosting an event and launching a new product in the same month. Like I just really didn't think through that emotional impact, and you guys know that money is quite emotional for me. And so you guys will see when we look at my budget, like I went over budget in some areas, and I would definitely say it's just because like some emotions were running high and I was just being a little bit unconscious. One place I did it intentionally, and we'll talk about that. But I think that that just doesn't work. Like it doesn't work to not truly think through how emotional I am about basically everything, and just making room for that so I don't take it out on my finances. What do I need to start doing? And that essentially what I need to start doing is I need to start thinking through the events, the activities, what time of year it is, stuff like I need to think through that stuff, because my emotions have such a dramatic impact on my finances, and I need to try to catch that before it happens. Obviously, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be able to catch everything, but I still would like to be able to catch more things. And I just think being very intentional about thinking through the month and what I have going on, and financially planning for that. I need to do a better job of that, because I think I've been doing my budget for so long that I just do my budget and I'm not counting the cost. Like I'm not really thinking through that part. So what do I need to stop doing? I need to stop rushing this journey, and I need to stop changing good habits. And so we'll talk about that. Well, no, I guess that I won't talk about that until I do my budget with me live. But like one of the intentions that I have for this month was to make an extra $7,000, basically to make an extra $5,000 so that I could pay off all of my debts except for my student loans. And that's just rushing, and I just need to stop doing that, because I'm breaking, if I did that, I would be breaking a good habit. And the good habit that I have is I don't pay myself in the month that I earn, and that allows me to always be a month ahead on my finances, which gives me financial security every month that I'm going in. But I realize if I spend money in the month that I earn it, it's going to take that away from me, and that's just not wise. So I need to stop rushing, and I need to stop changing good habits. What is my intention this month? My intention this month is to honor my debt snowball. Is to just pay my debt snowball, not try to do anything extra, not try to rush, just focus on my debt snowball and pay on my debt snowball. So now I'm going to throw you guys over my shoulder and we can take a look at my numbers. So this is my budget report card. The first thing that you will notice is that I am $9.12 over budget, which is not a good sign, and we will look through those numbers as we go in further. My salary this month was $5,000 from my company. I did receive $220 in gifts, bringing my total income to $5,220 this month. I tithe, let me switch this over to spent. I paid my tithes of $500. I paid my child support of $500. I replenished my emergency fund. The only reason I'm not showing it here is because if I put it there, then it's going to show that I spent $95. I don't know how to make that do that right. It's just I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it so that this category shows right. But I did put the $95 that I spent last month for fixing my phone back into my emergency fund. Then rent for January was $845. Here's some places where my budget went way over budget. So my electricity was $44.75, and in part that is because you guys know that I signed another lease with my apartment, and one of the things that my apartment complex is doing is changing over their billing structure to try to make sure that all tenants, I don't know how to explain it. Essentially, they're changing over their utility process. And so I am on a budget with my utilities, but to change everything over, I had to pay basically the excess that would have, like, so my year ends in May. So I don't know how to describe it. The point of the matter is because I'm on a budget, some months I'm paying a little bit under, some months I'm paying a little bit over, but to make it even so that I can make this transition to what my apartment complex is doing for my lease that will be renewed next month, I had to pay everything in full. So that is why I'm incredibly over budget for my utility bills this month, because I'm transitioning into my new lease, which will have an increase in my rent, and it should be a difference in my utilities in the way that they're broken down. Not 100% for sure about that whole thing, and I'll keep you guys posted, but $44.75 is significantly over my $25 budget, and then $37.27 is significantly over my $25 budget. And then, you know, my second gas, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, like, this was my second gas that I basically shared with the entire apartment complex, and I think at the beginning it was like maybe $10 or $15 a month, and now we're up to $29.77. So whatever the apartment complex is doing to make this transition, it's showing up as increased cost right now, but I think that that's just the cost of transition. So my household budget was definitely way over budget than what it normally is. I did pay my phone bill of $35.82. My groceries, I went over budget here. I believe originally in my budget video, I gave myself a $50 budget because I wanted to go back down, because I just was like, I don't know what happened last month. And obviously $50 with my lifestyle change isn't going to work. And so what I decided to do this month is just to spend intentionally, but also spend without restriction, to see what it really costs for me to just eat in a comfortable way while I'm working out. And what it costs for me to eat in a comfortable way this month, and comfortable, I'm using the term comfortable because it is well above whatever level that I usually eat at. But for me to eat in a comfortable way this month, it was $279, and that is including the 2 times that I went out to eat, when I went out to eat with my sister, and then the one time after I had my event, and rather than me cooking, I ate just because I was like down. So it did include me going out to eat 2 times, but all the rest of that $279.29 is groceries. So it's about $300 worth of food, which is unprecedented for me. But I really needed to figure out how much do I consume in groceries with this lifestyle change, so that way I can budget accordingly. So way over budget in this particular category as well, both originally from what I originally said, which was $50, but I chose to take some of my gift money and put it towards increasing my grocery budget, just to give myself the freedom to really figure out what it's going to take for me to eat like this with my lifestyle change. So significantly over budget there. Same thing with my transportation. My transportation budget is significantly over, and a lot of that just has to do with me hosting an event. There were a few more things that I did this month to pick things up that I don't normally do in a month, and so I guess technically then that probably would be on my business budget. I didn't really think about that. I wonder what it would be to separate those prices out. I didn't think about that those are actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, those are probably actually business expenses, because I was actually using Uber to go get things for something in my business. But that's not the way they originally thought of it. But also I really just want to be transparent. I'm not trying to split hairs with you guys. But that one of the reasons it was over is because I did do a lot more Ubering around the city this month, because I had a couple things that I needed to pick up for my event and stuff like that. So I'm $40.37 over budget there, which is, again, unprecedented for me in the transportation category. My rent and my health coverage was taken care of. Again, I dropped the ball on my life insurance, still didn't do the work to get that. That needs to be a priority for this month, to get that reinitiated. Thankfully, I had a little bit extra money in my budget. In addition to the gift money that I received, I only went to therapy once this month because my therapist wasn't well at the beginning of the month, and so rather than the planned $140, I spent $70. My personal trainer at $400, my gym membership at $49.99, my pocket money of $20, my college prep, I told you guys about that for my son, it's $100. The other unexpected thing that I got this month is I refreshed my underwear, and I spent $60.57. This again was unexpected, but I think it's just because I'm not thinking through clothes, and I don't know why I'm not doing that. I feel like it's the same sort of thing that I did last month, where I just randomly bought clothes. It's like, clearly I need clothes, and I don't know why I'm not pre-thinking about that. So I'm gonna plan better in this month's this upcoming month's budget, because even though technically I have the money in there, because basically it's the money that I spent on therapy, it's not okay to just spend $60 without planning to spend $60. Like, thankfully I have it, but that's never okay to just spend that without doing it. So even though that's not green, it should be green. Excuse me, even though that's not red, it should be red, because that is over budget, because I didn't originally plan to spend anything there. But I think the combination of being under budget on therapy and getting a little bit of a gift translated into that being able to be something that worked out. I paid my payment of $32 on my medical bill. The original minimum for my second medical bill is $200. I ended up paying $218.98, because remember, this medical bill is a clump of 4 medical bills, and so there was like $18.98 left on one, so I just paid that. So I technically, of the 4 clumped medical bills, only have 2 left in that to take care of, and I'm pretty excited about that. Nothing on City Girl, nothing on the IRS to be paid, and I put $100 to the side for my BCD business debt, because that is $5,000 that I need to pay towards that. So that's there. Then I paid my first student loan payment in over 2 years, and then it was painful. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very, I want to eventually get to the emotional space where it kind of just feels like I'm paying rent. But you know, $665 was hard to send, and the $1,000 was hard to send. But I am incredibly grateful and proud that, like, I actually sent the payment, because it's my first student loan payment in 2 years, and you couldn't have paid me money this time last year to wholeheartedly believe that I would have been able to send $1,665 in student loan debt. So overall I'm pretty happy with what I paid on my debts. Obviously I would prefer to have BCD done and my medical bills done, but as I mentioned in the reflection, I need to stop rushing myself, and I need to stop changing habits that work. And the habit that really works beautifully is for me to pay myself. It's for me not to spend the money in the month that I earn it. So doing that. So my planned income, if I take my salary that I paid myself plus the gifts that I received, is $5,220. What I actually spent this month was $5,234. Basically the difference between these two is probably just money that's left in the floor of my checking in terms of why my account is not overdrawn. But again, that's not okay to just be spending like that. I feel like I don't feel like I'm like super duper off, but I also feel like I'm just also not as on top of it. But as I mentioned in the reflection, I think that I really have to do a better account of what events or activities I have in the month, because when my emotions are high, even if I'm experiencing high positive emotions, I get a little unconscious about what I'm doing. So let's take a look at the percentages. My giving percentage is 19%. I'm really happy with that number in terms of me, what I'm giving. My savings, this isn't a true reflection because that was just me replenishing my savings. Housing is at 18%, which makes me feel really good that like I give more than the total cost it has for me to secure my four walls, essentially. That just feels really beautiful. Food is at 4%, and these are numbers based off of what I had planned, not based on what was actually spent. Transportation 1%, insurance 3%, my lifestyle is 15%, and my debt versus my income was about 38%, which I'm really excited about those numbers overall. So I planned on sending $1,997 towards my debt. What I actually put towards my debt is $2,015.98 towards my debt. So a little over what I planned, and you guys know my intention and my focus was to focus on my debt, but you do see other red spaces in here. Although this red here is good, this red here and here is not necessarily good, and so that's going to impact my overall grade for the month. But those are my numbers. So you guys had a chance to look at everything over my shoulders. You saw my numbers. If I had to give myself a grade for the month of March, I would give myself a C-, and that is because I went over budget. I do understand that some of the places I went over budget is just because my apartment complex is switching systems. I get that that doesn't have anything to do with me, but still I was over budget in many other areas that did have something to do with me. So there's that. And then because I was spending very unconsciously, even though it doesn't seem to be reflected in my budget, it does a little bit, but I was spending unconsciously. So that is something also that like I get a lower grade. So that is all that I have for you guys for this budget report card. Thank you so much for supporting my work, and I look forward to talking to you guys very soon. Bye.